Hey, so welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my March Mystery Madness wrap-up. The reason I'm not just doing my normal March wrap-up, including these books, is because I read like 15 books in March and there's just too many to talk about in a single video. So I thought I'd just grab all my mysteries and thrillers that I read for March Mystery Madness and talk about them in a separate video. And then when I go to film my overall wrap-up, I will still mention these books and I'll give you my stats for the month and all that, and still be able to talk about the other books I read in more detail without the video being like 50 minutes long. So let's just jump into it. So I believe that there were 6 challenges for March Mystery Madness, and I pretty much completed them in the first 2 weeks of the month, and then didn't really read anything for the readathon after that. So it's been a while, but I did manage to complete all 6 challenges. And they were just keywords basically that you could interpret however you wanted. And the first is shelf. So I picked a book that had been on my shelf for a really long time and that I even put into my project TBR for the year. And that was The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. This is her first attempt at a mystery. And I have to say, I approve. It was really good. I ended up giving this book 4 stars, I believe. The book is set in London and it's about a model that falls to her death and everybody just assumes that it is suicide. And this private detective called Cormoran Strike is kind of tasked by the brother of this model to investigate some more because he's convinced that it was actually murder and not suicide. So he reluctantly does, and things unravel and it's really fun. I really loved being back in a piece of writing by J.K. Rowling, even though I was completely different, obviously, in style and in genre and in everything, but I was actually surprised by how comforting it was to be back with the voice of one of my favorite childhood authors. I just really loved reading this. I felt so at home, even though it's not necessarily a pleasant story. I felt so at home with her writing. I really like Cormoran Strike as a character. He's very unique and very interesting. Definitely a one-of-a-kind kind of character, and I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be reading the sequels. I don't think the mystery itself was my favorite thing ever. It wasn't super surprising, but I still didn't fully predict everything that was going to happen, so I ended up giving it 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. I don't know the rest of the challenges in order, but one of the challenges was borrowed, and for this I read Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. If you've watched my TBR for this readathon, you will know how I justify putting this book under this category, even though I bought it myself. But this is obviously a very classic and standard mystery. It follows Hercule Poirot. I can't speak French anymore, but he's like a detective and he's on this train that goes from Syria to London, I think. Not like a direct train, but he's traveling from Syria to London, and on a train a murder occurs and no one knows who did it, and he finds out how the passengers of the train are related or connected to the murder victim, and yeah, it's a pretty standard mystery. I think I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I also just feel like Agatha Christie's writing is so comforting, because with a lot of thrillers, this is a mystery, but with a lot of thrillers or even mysteries, sometimes you feel like you yourself are in danger, or the narrator, like the detective or investigator, is in danger. It happens a lot. And in this one, there's no real suspense in that regard. There's no danger ever really to Poirot, but I think that that was what made it so comforting, because you can literally just sit back and follow this guy as he interviews everybody on the train and re-interviews them and re-interviews them and assembles all the clues, and it's just, I don't know, it's just cozy, it's comforting. Definitely not anything that's like gonna get your heart racing or anything that's gonna, you know, shock you when everything is being revealed, but it's just a nice, comforting read. The next keyword was new, and for this I read another new purchase of mine, and this is The Drive by Jane Harper. This is set in Australia and it follows a man called, what's his name, Aaron Falk. He's a policeman and he returns to his hometown because his high school best friend died, and the town believes that this guy actually killed his own wife and son and then took his own life. So Aaron Falk goes to his hometown to attend the funeral, and then people from his past show up again and kind of entice him into actually investigating the crime, even though he's not actually a murder detective. It's not like his area of expertise, but he still does some investigating, and clues unravel, things happen, the usual. I gave this book 3 stars. I thought it was well written. I really liked how the setting came through in the story. I love when you can actually tell the setting of a book and it's not just like a name slapped on a random standard Western country that literally could be interchangeable with anything. There was Australian slang, there was Australian animals, which I didn't necessarily appreciate. Like, there's this one scene where Aaron goes home and he says like, oh, there's like a huntsman on my wall, and he just like goes to bed, and I'm like, what's a huntsman? Let me Google that. This is a huntsman. And you better believe that if I saw this above my bed, I would not fucking get into that bed. Like, how can you just be this chill about it? I don't get it. I think only Australians would be chill with that, because holy shit. I am terrified just thinking about it. So I really loved how that kind of came across in the book. I really did enjoy the characters. I love the setting of a small town in general, and I think that this was really done quite well in this book as well. The mystery itself was a little lackluster. I didn't think it was like mind-blowing or anything, and again, it didn't feel super suspenseful to me, but overall I enjoyed it. It was a solid thriller, no, a solid mystery, and I want to continue reading things by Jane Harper because I think that she has definitely got potential. For the challenge of foreign, I have read a Detective Conan manga in Japanese. This one is called Edogawa Conan Shiso Jiken Shijo Saiaku no Futsukakan. Translated, it means the case of the disappearance of Conan Edogawa, the worst 2 days in history. It is the movie adaptation of a Conan movie, and I gave it 3 stars or 4 stars. I can't remember right now. I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was my favorite Conan ever. The story is basically Conan being abducted, and it kind of follows him as he is abducted, and then there's a huge flashback to the beginning, and like lots of things repeat, and then there's like maybe a little bit of extra new information that we learn, but a lot of it is just repetition, which is helpful if you're learning the language, let me tell you, but it's not adding anything really to my enjoyment of the story. So I think I gave it 3 stars. I think it was fine. It wasn't difficult to read, and I enjoy. It's Conan. Like, I have just a soft spot in my heart for Conan. I will never not like a book about Conan, I'm pretty sure. For opposite, I read a book that I don't typically read, which is a cozy mystery, and for this I chose Still Life by Louise Penny. This is also the first book in a series following Chief Inspector Armin Gamache. This is set in Canada, and again, I love how the setting comes through in that. It's a small town as well. There's also lots of like societal, political issues that I at least touched upon. I actually would have loved more detail on that because I find that really fascinating. I had no idea about like the troubles in Quebec, like between the French and the English side, like how they really don't get along super well, so found that really interesting. In this book, we follow a small town and a woman that has been painting her whole life but never shown anyone her paintings, finally agrees to put one into an art show that is being put on in the town, and soon after she is killed, and we don't know if it's murder or an accident, and this chief inspector is tasked to investigate, and in doing so he gets to know the small town and its people, and it's just, oh, I love the setting of a small town. Like, it's just so fantastic. There are so many different characters and personalities, and they're also unique and fit into the fabric of everything really, really well, and I just really love getting to know all of them. I ended up giving this book 4 stars as well. I think that the mystery, again, was a little bit lacking, just slightly, and I didn't really understand the dynamic between this chief inspector and like one of his deputies or something. I don't even know what she exactly is, like, there's just another detective that kind of helps him investigate, and she's young, and this is kind of like her first case, and her personality kind of flip-flops a lot throughout the book. Like, she starts off just being this very eager, very like, yeah, eager to prove herself new detective that just wants to do good and wants to do right and wants to succeed, and then all of a sudden she just like turns into this huge bitch that just gets on the inspectors and the reader's nerves, and I don't really understand where that came from. I don't really understand why she was taken in that direction, because at the end of the day she didn't really contribute much to the story, and I really don't understand why she was even in it at that point. Like, I don't know, I just felt like she was just there to make the inspector seem more of like an authority figure or of someone who's like to be respected, and I didn't really like that whole situation because she just didn't serve much of a purpose, basically. It was annoying. But overall, I really enjoyed this book, and I want to read more of this author because I already got a second book in the series, so I'm excited about that. And for the last challenge, which was historical, I read a book that is set in the 1910s, I think, or 20s. It is Miss Fran Fisher Investigates by Carrie Greenwood, another first book in a mystery series. I'm pretty sure there's like 20 books in this series, which I want to read those, but it's a lot of books, so I'm gonna take my time. Basically, we follow Miss Fran Fisher, and she lives, I think, in London, but one day she just like gets bored with her life there, and then she moves to Australia, and he's like tasked with like keeping an eye on the daughter of like a family she knows in London, because they think that she's being weird, like she's sending weird letters, and that she might be in danger from her husband. So she kind of goes just to have an eye on her and like investigate a little bit undercover. And it's just such a character-driven novel again. Like, Fran Fisher is such a character, and she's so fun to read about. She's very kick-ass for her time. She's like really empowered, a really strong person. She doesn't take any shit from anyone, and it's just so fun to read about her. Like, she's fantastic. There's a Netflix series, I think, that is based on these books that I have not yet watched, but if you have seen the show, I recommend the book. If you haven't seen the show, I recommend the book. Just read the book. It's fun. I give this 4 stars as well. And that is it for my wrap up for March Mystery Madness. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you participated in March Mystery Madness and what you read, how your reading went. Overall, I'm really happy with the books I read. Like, I liked them all. I discovered like 3 new series that I want to start, like, want to continue reading now. Actually 4, like all of these I want to continue reading, so not mad at all. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you then. Have a lovely week. Bye!